Yeah, this is going to be an interesting 20-minute video.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Gauntlet, where we go over everything esports news. I'm your host, Captain Zeus, followed by my co-host JT and Novaverse. And we got the results from this previous week madness of the Overwatch League, which is extremely annoying. Just a little disclaimer, sorry for the last video. We were talking about the 16 matches that were previously agreed upon unanimously by, the Overwatch League. And then the day before everything happens, they changed it on us. They moved the schedule around. They took some teams out, had some teams play other teams. Really threw us off our game. We already recorded it, so we had to post it, let you guys know what's up. But this one, it's the results, so there's no changing all this yet.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe a team gets kicked out of the Overwatch League. You never know.
Oh my gosh.
Boston, Toronto, they threw that out. They're like, yeah, we don't want people to see that one.
They're gone.
They're gone. That's it.
Yeah, it's gone.
Well, we got the results for you. From day one, we had the Guangzhou versus Shanghai matchup. Shanghai wins in a 3-0, dominant 3-0 fashion. Then we had Hangzhou reverse 3-0 sweeping Chengdu, which is a really good match. Then we had Toronto 3-1ing Boston, as well as Seoul Dynasty dominantly 3-0ing LA Valiant, which didn't surprise anybody. It was pretty expected on that one. But what did surprise everyone was to conclude that day was LA Gladiators 3-1ing San Francisco. Absolutely crazy. I don't know what you're doing. Quit that mess. And then on day two, we had Chengdu surprisingly 3-0ing Shanghai. Guangzhou 3-2ing Hangzhou. These Chinese names, they do not roll off the tongue as easy as I would hope. And then we had Atlanta 3-0ing Florida. Seoul Dynasty, unsurprisingly, 3-0ing LA Gladiators. But to conclude day two was a surprising 3-1 win from LA Valiant over San Francisco. A lot of craziness going on here. Chinese teams just seem to be swapping wins in weird places. Shanghai beats Guangzhou, but Guangzhou beats Hangzhou, who beat Chengdu, who beat Shanghai. Don't understand.
Giant circle. Don't try to understand it.
It's a huge circle. It was great. Great matches, great plays. Got a Battle Mercy play, in there. That was cool. But
see, forget about the Chinese teams. Seoul Dynasty. That's all we need to talk about.
Well, what about that Shanghai? We had a lot of hopes about them coming in here, and they got 3-0. They're for real.
They're a real team.
Seoul Dynasty did do extremely well this week. I can admit to that. But then again, it was expected. They 3-0'd both LA teams.
And listen, I like Gladiators a lot, but I picked them to lose that match because I just have so much faith in Seoul.
So rare to see you on my side.
So you remember last time you did this, I immediately flipped. So let's not do that.
Okay, all right. I'll take the win. I'll take the dub. I'll just take this and move on.
Speaking of my boys over there at the LA Gladiators. Oof. Okay, we took the loss from Seoul, but bright side.
Oh, goodness.
We beat San Francisco.
I'm sorry, Nova.
It's fine.
Nova,
I don't know what happened.
what has happened to San Francisco? I put them in my top 5. I'm regretting it now.
We all put them in our top 5.
What's happened?
Honestly, if you look in the matches, there was hints of San Fran still there, It wasn't like an immediate sweep, San Fran did fight back. They looked like their old self. But I don't know, these LA teams, they were showing off. I was watching the LA Valiant San Fran game, and KSP and KSF,
best duo in the league.
Those DPS players, they were giving them trouble, honestly. And even in that matchup, we actually had Sinatra have to switch to Zarya because, he has history as Zarya. But, if you have to do one of your main DPS players switching to a tank, Architect isn't a terrible DPS player too. He's really good, but having to do a major switch like that, that's kind of nerve-wracking right there. You know what I mean? So they made San Fran have to switch their roster up like that. So that's
Yeah,
kind of
I think that was pretty scary considering because that's like their main lineup, and then they just had to do a drastic change like that, kind of at like out of nowhere, you know. I mean, what's going on with the coaching staff on that? That was weird. You don't ever see that happening.
Just kind of
not
making me
absolutely
nervous.
sure. I mean, I still believe that not exactly the same old San Fran. There's always hints of them still in there, but I mean, maybe they are struggling a little bit right now in the season. Maybe they're just getting used to this new setup of how they're going to be playing their games. But I don't know, losing in a 1-3 style kind of matchup, definitely you got to look back and see what went wrong there. I don't know for San Fran, man.
Well, currently they've only won one match, correct?
Yes, so I think they're at 1-2. I think
1-2.
Yeah.
So that makes me a little bit nervous because I don't even remember who they won against because it was in like week 2, I think.
Wasn't it Dallas?
I was trying to look up to it. No, Dallas hasn't won a game.
No, they won against Dallas.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, because I think Dallas took off a game from San Fran, like week 2 or something.
Looking it up.
Week 1 or week 2, and it was a huge uproar. I remember someone took a game off San Fran. I think it was Dallas, and it helped your argument with them being top 10. And like it was a really good win, and then they lost the rest of the series. But I don't know. Maybe it's maybe San Francisco's like London, you know. They win the season. You know, they were really dominant during the season. Next season comes around, and all of a sudden they're not who they used to be.
It was Dallas, by the way, week 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another disturbing.
I think it's just this week. You know, I think it's gonna go over their heads, and they should be fine. I don't think it's.
But there was a lot of they were hyping themselves up coming into this week, though. Like you saw them on the Watch Point show. You saw they were like really confident, almost cocky like, but they were really confident. Understandably so. I mean, they're a really dominant team, definitely top 5 coming into the week, and then all of a sudden, not just one, but both LA teams, they get 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, I hyped them up so much that I wasn't even like in our last videos when we were talking about matchups, I wasn't even nervous. I was like, San Fran, they got it, no problem. But like you said, to lose both games in a 3-1 or 1-3 style, I mean, that's something definitely you got to sit down and look at. But you know, not totally nervous. I think they can hop back up into the standings, but.
So, do you think the hero bands, because the last time they played was week 1 versus Dallas, I just looked it up, and there was no hero bands at that time. So, do you think that's played a big part in this?
I mean, I don't think so. Honestly, because it was Winston being banned. I mean, the people who were being banned were players they don't play a lot. Maybe the exception of Sombra occasionally. You don't even see that much Soldier and Winston that much from San Fran. So honestly, I don't know. I mean, we saw Reinhardt Zarya comp, occasional double shield, but I was like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Strange.
Very strange.
Yeah.
I mean, I was happy, but
We were both happy with the outcomes.
I mean, I was kind of concerned Gladiators were not going to win a game this week.
I was kind of hoping they wouldn't.
I was hoping that Gladiators would at least. I mean, if they took San Fran, I would be fine with that. But I was expecting against Valiant that San Fran wouldn't have a problem. But obviously, KSP and KSF came and was like, you know, we're gonna show you who's boss, and they obviously came in and showed. But
I think that kind of goes to the argument that I was saying that both LA teams are pretty close in terms of skill and talent because their record this week was the exact same.
Exactly.
Both got 3-0 against Seoul, and they both 3-1 San Francisco.
And their matches played out fairly similar. Their play styles are differently, like they play differently, but the skill level seems about the same.
It's like two sides of the same coin. It's awesome to see teams like that because like when it comes down later on down the seasons, you'll see them butting heads a lot. Like when it comes to LA versus LA, that's gonna be a really good match. I want to see it. I want to be able to see that matchup. It's just really nice to see this kind of play stylers or these teams going into the season like this.
I'm happy to see Seoul actually show up and be dominant.
The real Seoul Dynasty has
They've
stood
been
up.
playing all along
everybody.
under Houston, so it's fine.
They were the one that beat Paris. That was the real Seoul Dynasty. Yeah, I didn't expect them. So I knew they were going to win. I thought maybe it was going to be a 3-1, but they 3-0'd them. I knew Seoul was going to win. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were saying any other team on this list. I was like,
Yeah, I know.
I could have made arguments. No,
I
Seoul's
knew
not.
Seoul was going to win. I didn't know it was going to be like this. And
I thought each LA team was going to take a win.
exactly.
I
thought
honestly
they were
thought
going
they
to
were
take
going
a
to 3-1. So that was a little bit surprising, 3-0s. For both of them. When Gladiators got 3-0'd first, I was like, oh, man, I'm going to hear all this crap because Gauntlet's going to take at least a game. And then when they didn't, I was very happy. I was like, yes!
And it's so weird how that played out because when Valiant got 3-0'd by Seoul, LA Gladiators 3-1 San Francisco. And then the reverse happens the opposite day. On day 2, you had Seoul 3-0ing Gladiators, but then Valiant 3-1ing San Fran. Like, are they just like trading notes or something? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, the LA teams have the same coaching staff. You
That
just
makes sense.
trade notes.
They're like, so we have 2 comps. You're going to play this one. You're going to play this one. But everything is going to be the same. Everything else is going to be the same.
Like the players switch jerseys.
It's the same people. Just they're putting on masks when it comes to conspiracy. Both LA teams are the same team.
Just one giant roster. So they're going to win.
Just one huge roster.
Speaking of 3-0 dominance, Atlanta.
What's to say there? I mean,
I'm very happy as an Atlanta fan.
I was kind of expecting Florida to take a map off them, to be honest. It was they didn't.
Nah.
I mean, maybe
I
it
know.
was.
Are you kidding me?
Hey,
That
hey.
team's so good.
Florida is good. I'm not saying Atlanta's not. Atlanta's great. Florida, I thought was going to take at least a map. I wasn't thinking they were going to win this one. I mean, obviously, as a Florida fan, I would hope they would want to win this. But I did not expect them to win this at all. I thought they were going to at least take a map off. I did not expect them to take any more than that. But they got 3-0'd, and it wasn't even like a prolonged one. It was pretty dominant, which is surprising because Florida is like 10, 11, 12 ranked in my opinion. So to see them to get beaten that badly was like, I don't know.
I agree with your ranking there too. Yeah, no, I do.
I think Florida's lower, actually.
Oh, let me win.
Yeah.
Let me win for
Wait,
once.
I mean,
where
you can
would you
have
put
data. So what, you put them 10, 11, 12, right?
Mhm.
Maybe 13.
Like the 14, 15. So I don't know. I don't think they're right there, like just underneath that top 10. You know what I mean?
I thought coming into the week they were. They had a lot of potential showing up. They have a lot of good team. They got a lot of good players, a lot of good skill sets coming in. I mean, obviously with this loss against Atlanta, it's going to be a little. It's going to lower them down, in my opinion, because it just proves they don't have what it takes to beat the top. We'll say top 8, top 7, top 8 teams.
Atlanta's not top 7. They're
What?
like top 5 for sure.
Okay, well, I'm just saying top 7 in general.
I thought
I'm
you
not
were
saying.
saying
I'm not saying
Atlanta
there's
was
7. I'm not
I was
saying,
like, no, I'm
No.
not letting you get away with that statement.
No, I'm just saying top 7 in general. That's all.
Atlanta is top 5 for sure.
Well,
I
no,
think
Paris
they're
is top
probably
5.
better than San Francisco.
I would
Actually,
agree with you.
I would say Paris probably
No.
is above them too.
No,
Dude, it was
I agree.
disturbing watching San
I
Francisco
think it was
fall
just a
apart.
bad week for San Fran, honestly. You know what I mean? I think when they get back to a different schedule, start playing again, I think they should be fine.
See, here's
But-
my thing to that, though. I get it if you lose against LA Gladiators, and it's like, okay, they took one loss. It was just it was first day jitters. You know, they haven't played in such a long time. But then you have the exact same loss against the opposite LA team the next day after seeing them play already against Seoul. Like, you had time to watch the game. You had time to study at least a little bit, you know, improve something. But and then they also had to change their play style on it, having Sinatra go to tank. Like, there's no, I don't know. I don't see the same San Francisco anymore. I think that spark has been put out basically because you have 2 losses the same week against both LA teams, which we all thought weren't top 8. Like they're like in that higher middleish section, and to beat the number top 4 team.
I had him at like.
I mean,
I had him like 3 or 4, but
like power ranking wise, like seeing them now, I don't think they immediately drop down to like out of 5. You know what I mean? Like I honestly like looking now. I think, in my perspective, I think like Philly is like up there. You know what I mean?
Philly's definitely like number 1 in my opinion.
Yeah, like kind of.
Well, I mean, not anymore because Paris beat them. Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't care about Paris, but like Paris isn't in this conversation. Get them out there. But
sorry.
I mean, I would probably say Philly would take kind of the top spot now. I think they're kind of like the most dominant team at the moment. But San Fran, they did drop a couple of rankings down in my book. But I'm not immediately shooting them down thinking, oh, everyone's got a chance on them. I honestly just think it's a bad team.
How can you say that? Because now, see, I thought San Francisco was a really, really dominant team, right? And I thought they were going to 3-0 both of these teams. Like, deep down, that's what I thought was about to happen.
Same.
Maybe 3-1. But I thought they were winning this pretty convincingly. And the only other team they've beat is Dallas, which, yes, I like Dallas, and I think they're top, like, right in the fringes of getting into top 10.
Yeah.
But still, that's not like a top team. So now they've lost to 2 middle pack teams back to back.
But does that prove that the LA teams are better than we thought, though? It could just be that.
No, I don't think so.
Really? Even though you're an LA fan yourself.
I am. But Seoul, I think, is like the most consistent, like 5-place team. I think they're right at 5. I think they can contend with like a New York.
I think they'd be 4 with San Francisco going down.
I mean,
you're right. I'm saying in that like 2 ranger. So from like 6 to 4, they're right there. By the end of the season, I think that's where they're going to be. I don't think they have enough firepower to knock out like a Philadelphia or a New York or Vancouver. Maybe Vancouver. I think they have a good matchup
I think
there.
maybe New York, to be honest. Vancouver, I think they might have some difficulty with because Vancouver does have a loss under the belt, and it's against San Francisco, who lost against both LA teams, which sold. But it's the whole circle of life type deal going on here. But
it's the top 5. Like, they're going to take a lot of losses to each other. But it concerns me greatly that they've now only played middle pack teams and haven't looked stellar on any of them. Like, they could have lost to Dallas. Dallas should have taken them to Game 5.
Agreed. I'll agree with you.
100% they should have taken them to Game 5. They got very lucky that Dallas didn't take them to a Game 5.
They honestly should have.
And those are all, in that 15 to 10 range teams.
I mean,
so that
what would you say would be the problem there? I mean, it's the exact same players. You know what I mean?
It concerns me that they've gone 7 weeks without playing and watching all these other teams play, and it seems like they haven't done anything new. They're just like the same team. Everyone else seems to be getting better as the year goes on, and they're just like stagnant. So, I think Atlanta moves up, and I think Seoul moves up. And
do you think it's just because San Fran, they just have a target on them, so people are like more prepared for them, or because maybe that might be it? Maybe these LA teams were really prepped and ready for San Fran, and then Seoul was just like, "Oh, you're not ready for us," and just. I mean, I respect Seoul. I mean, Gesture and Marvel were fantastic as tanks, and I'm looking at that now. Seoul is definitely gonna be a competitor against San Fran and those top 5 other teams.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think maybe just San Fran had a target on their back, and those 2 LA teams were gunning for them.
They need a signature win.
San Fran had a bad week.
San Fran needs a signature game They need to beat a Vancouver, New York, or one of the top 5 teams.
Even an
They need to
Atlanta or
beat-
Paris win would help them out a lot, to be honest.
Yeah. If they can beat a Seoul, anyone in that like conversation would help me solidify them in the top 5 again. Right now, I just don't know where to put them. I'm just confused.
Okay.
Kind of like I was with Toronto.
Well, speaking of confusion, what are we thinking about Shanghai though? Because
Still top 10.
they still 3-0'd Guangzhou, which I expected 100%. But then they got 3-0'd by Chengdu, which when we go back to the circle of life, Chengdu was the one that lost to Hangzhou, who lost to Guangzhou. Whole circle of life.
I mean,
you know, it's weird. It's weird.
how would you? Okay, so rank for like Chinese teams then, like based off of that, I would probably say Guangzhou is 4th out of them,
Mm-hmm.
and then honestly, I would put either Shanghai or Chengdu could switch, but I think Spark came out on top basically after
I think it's
that.
like a 3-way tie between them because they're all so good.
I mean, at least Spark was the only one. I believe was the only ones that like actually like had a match. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was
between
game
their
5 with both
competitor.
of their matches they went against.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, I mean,
I think Shanghai and Spark come out on top.
Really? You don't think Chengdu is
I
in
think
that
Chengdu
top
and
two?
Shanghai could switch anytime, but
I can agree
think
with them
Spark
there.
comes out on top.
I think these results are really confusing because I'm pretty sure these teams scrim each other constantly.
Probably.
So just because one team has another team's number doesn't necessarily mean they're better. They just have played against them a bunch. But you know what I mean? I think that's why we were getting this circle thing. It's because they've been playing each other for like 9-10 weeks only because of ping. So that's the only people they're able to scrim against, really, with good ping. So they play each other constantly.
Yeah, but the thing for me is that if you get 3-0'd, that automatically hurts your reputation or drops you down a bit.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see more matches before we go crazy, but I think I could put Spark 1 and then the other 2 in either place out of those 4 teams.
I would probably put Spark top and then probably Chengdu second, then Shanghai, and then Guangzhou is the bottom. Because
I'm not going with that.
I mean,
I can't go with that. Man.
respect Shanghai for getting the 3-0, but then they just got reversed 3-0 themselves against Chengdu. But Chengdu at least put up competition against Spark, although Spark won. You know what I mean?
I think it's just Spark, each match they've played, they've brought it to game 5. So it proves
they're
that
playing
Spark
matches.
definitely has what it takes. But Shanghai with a dominant win over Guangzhou, I mean, great, that's great. And then they got 3-0'd by Chengdu. I didn't watch that match, but it could have been that it was close either way. You know what I mean? There's 3-0s where it's like on paper, yeah, they got 3-0, that's it. But each match could have been close. It could have gone the distance. Because I know in the, what was it? I think the Gladiators San Francisco match, it was LA Gladiators 2-0 by half. And then on the third one, San Fran ties it, so they had to do a draw, and then they win the third match. And then LA wins that third one. So it could have been something in the same similar scenario. Like I said, I didn't watch the match, so I'm not going to say this is exactly what happened, but it could have just been gone to the distance.
I mean, the Spark versus Guangzhou, if you saw game 5, it could have gone either way. Like Spark could have won that and gone up 2-0, and Guangzhou could have been 0-2 this standing.
But
Like
isn't
that
it
game 5
entirely
was there.
isn't it entirely possible that they just have all the Chinese teams' number?
Probably, because due
Like,
to
they just
the
know
whole
each
virus thing, they have to only scrim against each other.
So
Basically.
maybe they just have the other Chinese team's number, and they've
if that
seen
was
them
the
play so many times. I think that's what it is.
If that was the case, then we should not be seeing a 3-0.
We should be seeing 3-2s is what.
It should be a mixed. You know what I mean? It should be 2-3.
No, I don't agree with that, because some people get mental blocks. Like teams will get mental blocks, where they just can't beat a team, even if they're worse than them.
Okay, well then Shanghai had a mental block against Chengdu, and Chengdu.
And like I've always said, Chengdu
And that's
has an
possible.
interesting play style, so it could have just been that too. Even though they all scrim against each other, they could have been had such a hard time against that specific play style that they'd like to go up against. So it's not that they're a better team or a worse team; it's just always could be the play style as well.
I want to see them. I need them to play more games against other people, not just Chinese teams.
Yeah.
To be able to figure out, hey, what is going on there? I mean, it's bad that we're week 8, and we've now got to see them play, which is great. We need to see them play 2 more teams to even get a read, or else we get in a similar situation with San Francisco, where we don't know what's going on anymore.
And we need them to play against the American teams as well, so that way we could see how they fare against possibly the top 10, top 12.
Let them play Vancouver or a New York or someone. I just want to see how good they are. Let them play a good team.
They should play against like a Paris, Atlanta, maybe Washington type style, which they're not the top 3, but they're in that section that they have the potential.
Anyone in the top 8.
Yeah.
Because I need to see someone who's good and I know is good to be able to assess, like, hey, what is going on with any of these teams?
Yeah.
I think these Chinese teams have a lot of potential, though. They're looking really good. I mean, granted, they've only won against each other, but they have a lot of potential coming into this season. And I'm still excited for Shanghai. I still think that they could be definitely top 6, top 7, something along those lines.
I agree with that.
No, I can't.
I
You're
think
such a hater. You're a dragon hater, bro.
I mean, okay, if you put Shanghai in 6, then Spark is
6.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Spark is going to beat Shanghai.
7,
Yeah.
8. Okay, I can agree with that.
Spark is like 6. Soul's better than them.
Soul's better than all these teams.
Atlanta's better than them.
I'll agree.
And then you've got the old top 5.
Well, maybe they're a little bit lower. Maybe they're like
7.
8, 9, because we still have the Paris, Atlanta, Seoul that's still up there in that 5.
I mean, you still have
7,
Philadelphia,
10.
you still have New York, you still have Vancouver, you still have San Fran.
There's a lot of good teams.
I can't say Atlanta is better than Shanghai or Spark yet. I definitely I see it. You know what I mean? Like you said, we need to see more matches beforehand. I'm not gonna say anything.
That would be a great matchup. Actually.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Spark,
I would love to see
like
that.
Atlanta. That would be a great matchup. I'd love to see that. Or Shanghai.
Oh heck yeah! I want to see
Shanghai, Atlanta, or Paris, Shanghai. Both of those would be sick matches.
Those would be amazing matches.
Yeah.
And it would give us a really good idea of where they fall.
If it goes to a game 5, at least it shows that they have the potential to be up there.
Even if it's a 3-2.
Well, yeah. If it goes to a game 5, like regardless of the result, I think it just proves that they have what it takes to be up there.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's any debate that they're the top 10. I think all those teams are top 10.
Agreed. It's just the order of it is going to be up in the air.
It's pretty early in the standings for now.
Well,
I mean,
it's week 9, but we've only seen 3-4 weeks worth of actual matches.
yeah, a lot of people only have 3 games in the belts.
It's true.
Or 2.
Just got their first.
That's true. Some of them just got their first. Well, that is going to wrap it up here. A lot of good stuff coming out this previous week. Whenever they release the schedule for this week, which God knows when, we'll definitely have to see how that plays out. Let us know in the comments what you guys think of these matches and how you guys think these teams are going to play out in the future of the season. But I'm Captain Zeus, followed by JT and Novaverse. And we're going to cry in our beds. See ya.
That's my spot.